on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now.
Hi, beautiful people. My name is Keri Kavali, and thank you so much for joining in for today's video. I am the writer, blogger, vlogger, speaker behind KeriKavali.com. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. On my platforms, I share about stay-at-home motherhood, wifedom, parenting, all wrapped up in God's good grace. And if you already are a friend of mine, thanks so much for joining back in. I know it's been a while. I apologize. I'll get right to it. So I've been gone for a little bit. I have always had the thought of my YouTube channel and everything that I was working for in the back of my mind. But I really couldn't work on anything, and I couldn't update you guys on something that I was working on behind scenes just because I had to protect it. And it was really hard to do, but I really had to protect it. We'll talk about protecting things that are very important to you and working in silence. I think that's very important. I just could not see myself being the type of person that vlogged and posted what I was doing and working on while I was doing it, just for so many other reasons. But I graduated registered nursing school. Yes, so I recently graduated registered nursing school. So as of right now, I'm recording this. It is September, sometime in September, early September. I think today is September 12th. So you might see this video in a few days from now. But I graduated July 30th. I walked across the stage. Got pinned. So as of right now, I do have my associates in registered nursing, and I am currently taking my BSN classes. So I am registered for my bachelor's classes, which are all online, and I'm studying for my NCLEX. So when I feel that I am ready to take my NCLEX, I'll go ahead and take that, get licensed, and I'll start working. I have a lot of plans and a lot that I'm praying about where I see my career going, and how the journey is going to look. But and I will include you guys in that in future videos. I don't see myself being at bedside for long. I do have a clear goal of where I want to take this degree, and where I want to end up and how my lifestyle will look while I'm working. So I'll share more about that later. I think that what I'm working towards now is going to get me to a career where I get back home with my family, raising my kids, and doing what I need to do from home. At the end of the day, my husband and I, we have an idea of how we want our lifestyle to be, for our marriage, for raising our children, and how our future is going to be when we assist our children in helping them raise their grandchildren. And that's for a whole different conversation. I do want to share our thoughts on generativity and how the older generations before us have a role in helping to shape the lives of their grandchildren and helping the parents, their own adult children, while their adult children are trying to get their feet on the ground and trying to create like a stable lifestyle for themselves and their children. The role of the grandparent is very, very vital. And I think that some people are blessed with amazing grandparents that are very helpful, who have the time or the health to help, and then some aren't. And having to navigate between what God has blessed you with and what maybe you don't have, but seeing the blessings within what you don't have, if that makes sense. I'm going somewhere else with this. Let's save it for another video. But nonetheless, I see my husband and I have an idea of where we want our life to go and how we want it to look like. And it involves us working careers from home, having careers from home. And because I do believe the woman should be home as long as she's capable of being home and if she wants to be home. And that's for another conversation, because if you have the ability to be home and your husband is okay with you staying home, he's okay with paying for the bills, but you don't want to be home, you don't want to take care of your kids, you don't want to cook all the time, you don't want to clean, don't do it, because you're not going to do it with love. You're not going to do it with a happy heart and a warm heart. And the house feels it, the home, everyone in the house feels it. And why should they suffer? My degree with nursing, I have a bigger idea of where it's going to lead me. And I am determined to reach that goal. So I have my associates in registered nursing. And if you don't know, the associate's part of registered nursing degree is the hardest part to attain. It's a little backwards. So I know some people think, there's the associate's degree for any degree, and then there's a bachelor's degree, and then you have your master's. And usually the bachelor's is harder because it's the next level up of education. And then there's the master's, which is the next level up. So it's a harder level of education, but not with nursing. If you look it up online, or if you have any nurse friends, or if you have anyone, any experience in nursing, or anyone that it's a little different with nursing. The associate's nursing program degree is the hardest because it's the one that is most rigorous. It's the foundation of it all. It's what fully teaches you everything about nursing, about healthcare within those short 2 years, 1 year program. You are required a specific amount of lab days, which are like 10, 12 hours within the school. You have clinical days where you have to be at the hospital, you're not getting paid, and that's anywhere from 10 to 12 days. You have practicum hours to complete every semester, and then you have these high intensity exams, and everything is riding on you passing your exams. Some of my classes, the grade was your exams. There was a lot of busy work and assignments that you had to turn in by due date. Everything depends on your exams, and the grading and the structure of it is just so much more strict. None of it is online. Most of it is not online. You have to be there physically in class full time. And that's hard when you're a parent and you have to figure out childcare for your children and who's going to watch your kids, or who's going to take them to school, and who's going to pick them up. And it's really hard to be at class sitting and taking notes and all of that, doing assignments, whatever, while at the same time trying to figure out who's going to watch your kids, trying to figure out how you're going to afford a sitter for 8 to 12 hours or for class, and who's going to take the kids to and from school. And it's just a lot. And if you don't have family around to assist, like a village, it can really be a challenge, almost so where it's impossible. I think another thing about it that makes it, another component of it is like, okay, so the grading system with nursing is, with nursing school, is your exams. So you'll take about 4 exams in total, maybe 5, including like the final exam, whatever way they grade it. But 77 is passing. So anything below 77, 78 is considered failing. Some programs are different. Some programs believe that anything below 80% or 82% is failing. If 77% is bare minimum to pass the class, and if the only things that are being considered are the percentage that you get from your exams in order to pass the class, what they do is they take like all 4 or 5 of your exams and average them out. And if it hits that 77% and or a certain amount of points, then they add in the little tiny grade from your assignments, and that's how you pass the class. So you can do all the assignments, and if you fail an exam and it brings your average of all 4 or 5 of your exams below 77, you fail the class. Or you can only miss a certain amount of clinicals in a semester. So you have 1 clinical makeup every semester. So if you miss 2 or 3, you can only make up 1, you automatically fail the semester. So when I say the associate's degree of nursing is the hardest, it really is. It's building all of the knowledge from absolutely rock bottom. It's almost it's accelerated because there's just so much to learn in such a short amount of time in a program, whether you're in a traditional program or an accelerated program, which I don't see how people do that. There's just so much to learn. You don't even actually learn everything when you're in the program. And then there's a lot of self-teaching. You have to actually, they can't teach you everything at school. So you have to go home and then like the exemplars and the information that they've told you, the diseases to focus on, you have to go back home and expand on that on your own with your own studying. If you fail a class, in the program that I was in, you could only fail, I think, twice. So if you fail a class once, you can retake it. If you fail a class the second time or a second time in the program, you get kicked out of the program. And if you get kicked out of a nursing program, dismissed from a nursing program because you failed twice, it's really, really hard to find any other nursing program that will accept you. So that there's a lot of stress in nursing school. But I really was just saying all of that to explain and paint a picture of how the associate's degree in registered nursing is the hardest degree to get. And I just got mine. I just achieved mine. When you go for your bachelor's degree, and a lot of people go straight for their bachelor's and do 3 years or 4, I decided to do my associate first. And then when I start working at a hospital, I could have the hospital pay for my bachelor's classes, which most people do. And then when you go for your master's, you go from there. But and I wasn't expecting to start my bachelor's classes so soon, but because I ended up getting awarded some scholarships, I was like, it was a waste for me not to take advantage of that. So I've got some scholarships. Apply for your scholarships. We can make a video about that, but apply for your scholarships. I can say 100%, just me blindly applying for scholarships has awarded me maybe about $10,000. I want to say like $10,000 or $15,000 worth of scholarships and grants, just me applying. And this is me including it with like my prereqs to get into nursing school too. So apply for those scholarships, which we'll talk about in another video. The bachelor's degree for most programs is online. You do it from home and it's really easy. It's usually a lot of just like paperwork or like papers or discussions, maybe small little quizzes, nothing overwhelming, just quizzes, nothing that requires a lab, nothing that requires like clinical hours, because they assume that you're already a nurse. And that's what I'm experiencing so far, and it's all online and it's self-paced. So it's not like you have to go at the pace that the program requires you to, like nursing school. It's self-paced. You can take 1 class, 2 classes, and the classes for my program are only 8 weeks at a time. So it's a lot more different. It's more relaxed. You can do it in your sleep almost. So that's why I'm taking mine right now. I wouldn't take my bachelor's degree class if I didn't know it was going to be so relaxed, just because I am focusing on my NCLEX. How was my experience in nursing school?
So on time for what this was going to be. It's like you can tell when he's just trying to send you a message. He's trying to prepare you because he knows like it's going to get hard. And he knew, like, he knew he was going to end it.
Beautiful. I want to say very beautiful. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what I'm capable of. I learned a lot about my value. I've always known my value in God, my value as a wife to my husband and how much he loves me, and my value as a mother to my children. But there was another identity that I found about myself when I was outside of these doors in the classroom setting. And there was just so much positive feedback from my classmates, from the nurses that I worked with. But I've also experienced difficult people too, difficult nurses, difficult preceptors, difficult professor, one, difficult classmates, maybe like a couple, difficult family members, which is unfortunate when you really need family during a time where you're juggling it all and you really have no one. But at the end of the day, my family and I made it through, my husband and my children and I'm very grateful for the little bit of help that I did get from those around me for as long as they could help. I have a lot of wisdom that I've gained during this experience, but I don't know, I have to be careful of what I say, because I just want to make sure it's coming from a place of wanting to help others. But it was beautiful, and I really, really enjoyed it. I've cried during the entire program so many times for so many different reasons. I was stressed out. There were times where I didn't think I was going to be able to finish it. There were times where I thought I was going to get held back. I graduated on time, mind you. But I've also made some really great friendships out of nursing school. And like I said, that's a whole different topic of conversation that I want to share with you. So what does that mean for this channel? I know that my channel is all about being a stay-at-home mom, which, by the way, if you're new here, I'm a stay-at-home mom to 4. And I usually share about my day in the life of being a stay-at-home mom, or I'll talk about it. Obviously, I'm not going to be that anymore. I'm going to be a working woman out in the world. And it's going to be a little bit different. But like I said, I don't see myself outside of the house for too long. It's going to take a couple years, but because I need to get my experience and I need to get into the units that I need to get into in order to get the experience I need for me to create a portfolio and get the experience I need for where I want to end up at. But my end career goal brings me back home for my kids. One of the reasons why I chose nursing, which we can have a whole discussion about what got me to this point. So it's very flexible, and I really needed that for my lifestyle, because my husband and I have our main focus is on children and trying to be the best parents and raising them in the best way. My channel is going to be sharing my journey from stay-at-home mom through nursing school, and catching you guys up with my experience, because I did document the entire experience. I did document it. I recorded some video updates and I kept it to myself, taking you through the journey of getting my license, finding my job, working, and hopefully I can take you through the journey until I get to my end goal, my end career, all while still being a mother and taking care of my children and being the best wife that I can be with my husband. We've got some big changes for our family coming up. We've been planning it and praying, and I just feel it so heavy in my heart now than ever. It's something that we've been praying about for the past few years. I'm still a traditional mother. I'm still a committed and loyal and Christian mother and wife. So nothing changes in that regard. It's just that 3 days out the week, I'm going to be at the hospital, and I'm really excited because I get to work in a setting and doing what I think I'm going to be good at. I'm going to be good at taking care of those who are sick and are in need. And I know that I can see it just from my experience so far being in the hospital. I have so much more to share with you. I want to tell you about my goals as far as like what unit I'd like to start off in, or where I'd like to get into, and the pathway I'd like to experience. But as you can see, I'm a little tied up right now. I've got my littlest one on my lap. She's still in her PJs. So I dropped off the kids to school not too long ago, and hubby's upstairs taking a nap. He worked night shift last night and he works night shift tonight. And of course I'm at home with my 2-year-old. Oh, which, by the way, I just want to let you know, during my program, 2, and she just turned 2. So you can imagine what it's like going through an associate's degree nursing program with a 1-year-old, because I started when she just barely turned 1 last year. I started last May. It was a 1-year program. It started last May. She turned 1 last June. So she was 1 month away from turning 1. And then she turned 2 this summer. So it hasn't been the easiest. And I'm just now finally, thank you. I'm just now finally starting to wean her off. So she's no longer getting milk as like a sustenance thing, but she still latches on for comfort, but we've cut it down a little bit. So it's been a lot. And I think that if I were like the type of person to do things a little bit differently, I think it might have been a little bit easier if I would have sent my kids to daycare or summer camp or sent my daughters out to childcare. Like she could be in daycare right now, but I do it a certain way and it only makes it harder for me, but it's how my husband and I want to do it. I guess you can say I'm choosing the harder path or the harder ways of doing things, but it's how we want to do it. My husband was there for me and he was my biggest cheerleaders, and believe it or not, actually my kids were huge cheerleaders for me too. My 3 older kids, my soon-to-be 11-year-old, my 9-year-old, my 5-year-old, they would cheer me on. They would ask me what grades I got for my exams. They would pray over me. I kept them along with me throughout the entire process. And I wanted to be an example to them of what it looked like as a woman to get her degree. Because, you know, my son has his father, my husband, who has his degree, but what it looks as a woman, what it looks like as an older woman, because, you know, I'm in my 30s, and what does it look like to do it while you're still being the best mother to your children. So I wanted to be an example of what it looks like, to show them what the struggle is and to show them what it looks like to work hard, how to balance it all, and the reality of it. Why it's important to try to go to school when you're younger, when you don't have when you don't have your children, and it's okay if you do have to a little bit later. And I think that's really good because they'll always remember. Like I remember when my mom did it, and she had 4 of us, and we were very young, and she did not have any family around to help her, and so I know I can do this, you know? So I brought them along with me for the journey. And so it was very hard. My husband works a lot. So he was there for me in so many other ways. He tried to make my life as easy as possible, but there was only so much he could do. He was actually traveling at the time of my program. So I'm going to be quite honest with you because I try not to post that online. My husband is working now here, living at home with us. My husband has been traveling since COVID. So he'll come home and he'll visit, or there were times where he was home for a little bit, maybe a month or 2. Sometimes he'll be home for 7 days. When I was in my program, he was working in New York. He was gone physically, and he would come and visit, but he was in New York. So I was single momming it without fully being a single mom, because my husband was providing for us very well. You know, he paid the bills. We have bank account. I just swipe my card for whatever I need. There was never a time where I was in lack. It's just that I didn't have my partner here with me. So there was no tapping out and him jumping in when I needed him. If I cried, I'd have to wait for when he flew into town for me to cry on his shoulder. So until then, I'd be crying on the phone with him. And to deal with everything in life, and then your best friend partner who's supposed to be there for you is in a different state. We tried our best, but it was very, very hard. So, but we made it through. And I'm just so grateful for him and his patience with me, because there were times where I was taking out my worry, my anxiety, my anger out on him, and just his encouragement. He has always believed in me. And that's one thing I do want to mention too. My husband has believed in me before I believed in myself. I never thought that I could get a degree in nursing. I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think it was possible. So for him to believe that and encourage me and tell me I could do it the entire time, but that's like a whole dedicated video. I'm so grateful for him. He has I always have this little joke with him that he kind of raised me, even though he's only 3 years older than me, because he's just been such a positive light in my life, and I'm just so grateful for him. And I actually wanted to bring him on camera for a video, because I think it's very important as the main provider for the family. Our only income came from him. So as the main provider for our family, I think that him being able to share his experience and just his thoughts on the entire process, because I know like that's a lot for him as a man, you know, and the sitters were very expensive. If you can only imagine what it costs to have a sitter, 4 children at the house, like 10, 8, 12 hours, 13 hours, and sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes overnight. So there's just so much to talk about, and I just have so much more faith in God, even though I've always had faith in him. He's just really shown out for me. I can't wait to take you on the road through this journey with me. I hope you don't mind. So if you are a stay-at-home mom and you're interested in what it looks like to journey through starting a career as a nurse, maybe you want to go back to school, maybe you want to go to school for nursing, maybe you want to do, part-time. They got part-time, they got PRN position. If you're interested in that and what it looks like to balance being a full-time, mother, working, all of that, still taking care of the kids, still being a traditional wife, that's what you're going to see here. Maybe you'll find some encouragement on what it will look like, that you can do it too. Maybe you want to wait a little bit longer until your children are older, but it's something that you're thinking about or preparing for. Maybe you're a new grad nurse. Maybe you're already a nurse. Maybe you're a mother who works and you have children. This is my next chapter, my next season in life. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm so ready for it. There are times where I get really nervous and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be home full time. I'm going to be at the hospital 3 days. What's that going to look like? It's going to be a big change. I'm taking my bachelor's classes, I'm getting that bachelor's degree, and then I'm going straight for my master's. And I don't know. You never know. I might get my doctorates, but I know for a fact what I want to end up becoming. And I'm going to do it. And it's going to afford me a lifestyle where I can be back home with my family. I want to be the best mother I can be while still also providing for them, giving our children life experiences, teaching them what really matters, keeping God and Christ and Jesus in our everyday teaching, especially in this day and age. And I'm not going to lie, like going to nursing school was a little bit of a break from being at home. And I think I really needed that. And I think that working a little bit out of the week is going to let me have a little bit of break and focus on something that feeds my soul, something for myself, something for me. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for this long-winded explanation of what nursing school is like, what entails from it. And if you decide to stick around, or if you're new to my channel and you are subscribing because you are interested in this journey of me being a traditional mother and wife, Christian at that, while navigating being a new grad RN and balancing educating the kids and furthering her degree, welcome. And if you are choosing to continue on staying subscribed because you're down for this new chapter, thanks, girl. Thanks for staying true to your girl. Seasons change. But I'm going to be back home eventually. I'm working towards something that's going to bring me back home. So I'm really excited about that. I want to take you guys with me for the journey. Again, I know I shouldn't apologize because she's just my 2-year-old, and you don't apologize for your babies. Never apologize for your babies. But I apologize, guys. She's still in her pajamas. And she can be. Like, she's at home full time. You could be in your pajamas, girl. Look, I was in my pajamas before I turned on the camera, okay? So before I recorded, I was in my pajamas. I put a little bit of makeup on and put this dress on, but I was in my pajamas, okay? And I had a hair cover on and everything. I don't be looking like this all the time, so it's totally fine. So anyways, until next time, talk to you guys later. Bye. Bye.